It was a Tuesday like any other, the kind where the world feels soft and predictable. I'd just driven back from town, my truck loaded with grocery bags, fresh chicken for the grill, a six-pack of beer, and a plan to catch up on emails. The gravel crunched under my tires as I turned into my driveway, but then I slammed on the brakes. A white MOVYing truck was parked dead center on my property, bold as brass, like it belonged there. For a split second, I thought they were lost, maybe some poor soul who'd missed a turn off the highway. But then I saw a hairy woman in a crisp blazer, her hair ruler straight, directing two movers hauling a fancy beige couch onto my porch like she was staging a magazine shoot. I killed the engine and stepped out, my boots hitting the dirt. "Excuse me, ma'am," I called, keeping my tone polite but firm. She spun around, flashing a smile so bright it could have sold toothpaste. "Oh, hi. You must be the neighbor," she said, brushing imaginary dust off her sleeve. "I'm Lisa Harper, and this is my new home." I let out a laugh, not because it was funny, but because it was so absurdly wrong it felt like a prank. "Your home." I gestured at the porch I'd rebuilt with my own hands. "Lady, this is my house." Her smile didn't flicker. "Oh no, I'm quite sure it's mine. I bought it 2 weeks ago, closed on the 15th. It's all in the paperwork." She reached into a handbag that probably cost more than my truck and pulled out a stapled stack of papers. I glanced at them, a purchase agreement with her name, a scanned check for due law $140,000, and a blurry PDF of a supposed deed with a county seal so pixelated it looked like it was drawn in Microsoft Paint. "You saw this house?" I asked, a headache already throbbing behind my eyes. "From who?" "A realtor out of Asheville, Lee. PropertyEasy.com. Super streamlined process," she said, beaming like she'd just aced a test. I muttered, "Wait here," and stormed past her couch and saw my house. In my desk drawer, I grabbed the real D, the one with the embossed county seal, my dad's name crossed out, and mine written in. I also snatched tax receipts, title history, and a framed photo of me grinning in front of the porch with a not-for-sale sign from 3 years back. When I returned, Lisa barely glanced at my documents. "With all due respect," she said, arms crossed, "this feels like you're trying to intimidate me. I've already transferred utilities, and my mail's being rerouted. If you're some squatter or scammer, it'll catch up with you." I blinked, dumbfounded. "Lady, I've lived here since 2019. This land's been in my family for generations." Her eyes narrowed. "Then why was it for sale?" "It wasn't saw," I snapped. That's when she whipped out her phone and started dialing. "I'm calling the police. You can sort this out with them. I have documents, and you have stories." I wanted to scream, but instead, I stood on the porch I'd built, watching a stranger claim my life like it was a Black Friday deal. The cops showed up fast, their cruiser kicking up dust. 2 deputies stepped out, looking as confused as I felt. Lisa greeted them like they were her personal SWAT team. "Officers, thank God. This man's refusing to vacate my property. I have the deed, the purchase agreement, everything." I handed over my folder without a word. "Real documents, real stamps, not some shady PDF." The older deputy, a guy with tired eyes and a wedding ring, flipped through my packet. "Mr. Thompson, you've owned this since 2019? Inherited it from your dad?" "Yes, sir," I said. "Deeds certified, taxes paid, utilities in my name." Lisa scoffed. A good scammer always has props. The younger deputy, clearly new to this level of crazy, studied her papers, his face shifting from polite to alarmed. "Ma'am, do you have anything showing this sale was filed with the county?" "I have everything that matters," she snapped. "The agent said the paperwork's processing next week. It's a digital closing." The older deputy cleared his throat. "This is a CIVYL matter. You'll both need lawyers. For now, no one's evyting anyone. Mr. Thompson has possession." Lisa's glare could have melted steel, but I held my ground. Things got worse. A few days later, I came home to find my front door locks changed. A printout taped to the window read, "Pending litigation. Do not enter without permission of legal owner, Lisa H." I had to crawl through a back window like a burglar in my own house. Then came the social media storm. Lisa posted on Nextdoor, Facebook, even a local group, painting me as a tech bro squatter who defrauded her dream home. She shared a selfie in front of my saw porch, captioned, "They try to steal my future." I'm not backing down. Overnight, I went from a quiet guy to a VY lane in online debates about housing justice. Strangers called me a predator, a thief, even a fake veteran. Someone 3 blocks away offered to start a GoFundMe for Lisa's recovery. I moved into my garage, sleeping next to my weed trimmer, because it was the only place I could secure. I called my lawyer, Mark Grayson, a sharp-dressed guy who never seemed rattled. He dug into Lisa's documents and found holes big enough to drive a truck through. The county never recorded a transaction, he said. Her deed's a watermarked PDF, and the title company doesn't exist. The county registrar confirmed it. The notary ID on her deed belonged to a woman dead for 4 years. Then a neighbor, Tom, posted online about a guy offering to sell him a foreclosed house for $90,000 through PropertyEasy.com. My jaw clenched. It was the same name Lisa had mentioned. Mark made calls, and by Friday, I was wired up in a cafe parking lot, a recorder clipped under my hoodie. The guy from PropertyEasy.com showed up in a beat-up Honda, peddling more forged documents for a secluded cabin opportunity. I played along, asking questions, until 2 plainclothes detectives swooped in. The guy was part of a fraud ring, faking listings and scamming buyers across state lines. Lisa was their biggest mark in North Carolina, but instead of reporting the scam, she doubled down, squatting in my home and posting TikToks claiming I was in on the fraud. One VY tagged the scammer boys the Justice for Lisa, got 70,000 VYUs. Then came the FedEx envelopino return address. Inside was a blocky handwritten note. "Your story's next. You stole from the wrong woman." Tucked in was a photo of me sleeping in the garage, taken through the window. That night, I loaded my shotgun and sat on the porch until dawn. Lisa escalated again, showing up with a guy in a cheap suit and a VY8ers, calling himself her legal representative. He handed me a letter on Comic Sans letterhead, demanding I transfer ownership under NC possession law. I asked if he was licensed to practice law. He mumbled something about common law justice. Mark laughed so hard he hung up on me. That afternoon, Lisa held a protest in my yard. 6 people showed up with a sign reading, "Let women own property," another vaping and yelling about housing inequality. I just stood there, arms crossed, watching the circus. Then a young protester asked Lisa, "What site did you use to buy the house?" She stammered, "PropertyEasy.com." The kid frowned. "Isn't that the one that got shut down?" Lisa's face went pale, then red. She snatched a poster and stormed off. The mask was slipping. I was gone for 48 hours on a work trip to Charlotte, trusting Mark's assurance that Lisa wouldn't try anything drastic. I was wrong. When I returned, my house was unrecognizable. Pink and gold balloons were tied to the porch, and a glittery sign by the mailbox read, "Open house tour, 1 day only." Strangers wandered my lawn, one snapping selfies with my chimney like it was the Grand Canyon. A couple stepped out of my VYing room with lemonade cups. "You the realtor?" a guy in cargo shorts asked. "This place is a steal." Lisa stood at the door, clipboard in hand, greeting people like a tour guide. "You're back early," she said sweetly when she saw me. "What the hell is this?" I growled. "Community engagement," she replied. "Transparency eases conflict." I looked past her. Someone was eating my cookies on my couch. A kid was bouncing on my bed upstairs. A dog was sniffing my fireplace. "You broke into my home, saw again, saw." "It's not breaking in if I intend to reside," she said calmly. That was it. I snapped. I stormed inside, ignoring her protests about disrupting a public gathering. The VYing room was a mess party: trays, scuff marks, a purse dumped on my ottoman, candles burned on the kitchen counter, a fire hazard in my old wiring. Upstairs, juice stained the floorboards of my dad's study. I marched back out, hands shaking, and called the police, a locksmith, a cleanup crew, and Mark. "We're going nuclear," I told him. The cops arrived as the open house cleared out. Lisa played it off as a misunderstanding, but a guest handed over her printed flyer, Lisa's new chapter, A Journey of Homecoming, complete with a map and RSVP link. The police documented everything: the broken pantry lock, a used toothbrush in my bathroom, Even a copy of Said Pray, Love Saw she'd wedged onto my bookshelf. I didn't sleep that night, sitting in the garage with a bat across my lap, the flyer's image burned into my brain. The courthouse was as of reporters, bloggers, even a guy live streaming on TikTok. Lisa strutted in like a MOVYE star, clutching a color-coded folder of nonsense. Mark stood beside me, sharp as a blade. The judge, a no-nonsense woman in her 60s, silenced the room. Mark laid out my case: title history, notarized deeds, tax receipts, photos of my dad mowing the lawn. Lisa's lawyer, a wannabe motivational speaker, objected to everything. Then Lisa took the stand, claiming she was the VY Tim, scammed out of her life as a VY NGS, tormented by me. She even shed a single, theatrical tear. Mark dropped the hammer. He showed the arrest report of the scammer, paid VY Elise's unverified Venmo to Greg for deals. He played VY Deo of her open house, complete with a flyer. Then came the knockout. An Instagram story Lisa posted the night before, accidentally showing a message where she typed, "Even if I lose, I'll say he forged everything. Half the internet believes me, LOL." The judge leaned forward. "Ms. Harper, is this your account?" Lisa stammered, "Social medias." "Fluid, Your Honor." The detective testified, confirming Lisa's scam, but highlighting her trespassing and online harassment instead of reporting it. The verdict was a reckoning. The judge affirmed my ownership, ordered Lisa to vacate immediately, fined her due law $5,000 for unlawful occupation, and awarded me due law $20,000 for distress, property damage, and reputational harm. She recommended criminal charges for document fraud and obstruction. Lisa swayed, speechless. Outside, reporters swarmed. "You ruined everything," she hissed. I looked her dead in the eye. "No, Lisa, you did. I thought that was the end." But 3 days later, Lisa popped up on Instagram as Fraudster VY Vor Lisa, calling me a tech predator in a digital gentrification scheme. She posted a somber VY Deo, piano music and all, claiming she was branded a criminal for defending a dream. Then she accidentally screen-shared a folder labeled Media Push Strategy, revealing a chat about selling her story to a docuseries. The internet pounced. Screenshots spread, Reddit dubbed her the Zillow Siren, and leaked email showed her begging the scammer to skip checks for a quick deal. The DA charged her with obstruction and false documents. By the time the sheriff came to EVYCT her, she'd vanished, Leah VYing a trashed guest room and crumpled flyers for her memoir. Fall came early that year. The oaks turned amber, and the air felt clean. I replaced the locks, refinished the floors, and burned Lisa's flyers in a bonfire. I stood in my dad's study, hand on the desk we'd built when I was a kid, and felt him there. The local paper ran a story, Digital Deeds and Delusions, how one man reclaimed his home. Neighbors brought pies and beer. A kid gave me a drawing of me as a caped hero, speech bubble reading, "Get off my lawn, Lisa." I pinned it to my fridge. My new mailbox has a brass plate. This home is not for sale. Not to scammers. Not to anyone. This house isn't just walls, it's a battlefield, a sanctuary, a Sir VY Vor. It outlived Lisa's lies, and I slammed the door behind her. So what do you think? Was Lisa a VY Tim who got in too deep, or a master manipulator playing the martyr? Should I have shown her mercy, or was going nuclear the only way? And how far would Saw You Saw go to protect what's yours? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more wild stories. Let's talk.